Aloha! So we just anchored out deep in about 40 feet of water getting ready for the surf tomorrow and overnight here by Waimea Bay. So we'll have the Ocean Maverick Classic. First time ever. Now if you're clean and you gargle with bleach and I get to spray you down with Lysol, you can come on board. But you got to be pretty much naked in the sun for like an hour to, kill all the germs and all that kind of stuff. Then you can hang out here. So hey, aloha. How to anchor offshore in a big swell and enjoy the surf, to go surfing, or to host surfers on board. There are several things that are critically important. You can see here how I set myself up to be centered in the middle of a sand channel. Usually a sand channel will have a main beach, just like this, right in the center. Your ground tackle. You need a lot of chain, good anchor. I prefer a Bruce anchor, claw anchor, something that can drag a little bit, but actually get a pretty good bite in the sand. I go with a shorter scope, like 4-to-1 instead of 5-to-1, unless there's a big wind or the rip current gets extremely strong. You can see on the chart, like where I am right now, that I'm dead center in a sand channel. Now, you have to multiply whatever times the swell is by 5. So we're expecting up to an 8-foot swell today. 5 times 8 is 40 feet. You need to be in at least 40 feet of water. That gives you a safe zone. You need to be in the center of a sand channel. That is where the sand is pulled out by the big wave surf. And it's also pretty much dead center where the rip current will come out. In that scenario, it will keep either your bow or your stern pretty much direct into the swell. So it reduces rolling motion. You just have a little bit of pitch, from bow to stern, stern to bow, but it's pretty comfortable. Another very important thing is to do all your engine checks, especially fuel stuff. Any kind of air leaks, water, your engine needs to be very operational and dependable. So you want to go through all that stuff before you put yourself in this kind of a scene. Now I'm in the middle of a major refit, so do forgive the messes on board, unfinished projects. Most of it's just cosmetic. Do it and haul out, get the rest of the painting and sanding done. You want to have several anchors in addition to heave out, put out in case you need to. More anchors, the better, in case you need to use them. But one anchor ought to be fine. I'm doing a refit, so got a lot of messes, redoing the bow up here. On my hydraulic winch drum, I can put 160 feet of chain. It's ideal to have about 200 feet of chain. A key critical component to this whole thing is putting a bungee on your chain. I use 3/8 inch chain. I find that 1/2 inch 3-strand nylon, because 3-strand line will stretch up to about 30%. So if you have 20 feet hooked onto it, it can give you a 7-8 foot stretch to absorb the surge that happens out here. Otherwise, it can do damage to your ground tackle. So make sure you always have a serious bungee in line. You don't need an expensive one, just 3-strand line, 3/8 inch, 7/16, 1/2 inch. If you get larger than 1/2 inch, it's not gonna stretch. It needs to be able to stretch and be something that can actually break before your chain would be challenged. By studying the land features as well as your chart, you'll discover that usually sand comes right out, and then off to the sides is where the surf's going to begin to break first. The rocks and the gravel and the not so good place to anchor. It's also great if you have a hangout way up high. Right now I'm about 12-13 feet above the water level, because as the swell pumps, you won't be able to see out of your cockpit. You got to be up high. You want to be in a safe spot, not up in your rigging. So I love my hardtop wheelhouse I recently built and put on. You can see how the surf comes in the shallows, begins to break. all around. And then by having a sandy beach like that, often these beaches, they absorb a lot of the swell, so it just kind of rolls up on the beach. In these conditions, I much prefer using a fish finder depth sounder alarm, because you can set, say, it'll go off if I go into 30 feet of water, it'll go off if I go into 50 feet of water. So if I'm dragging out to sea or dragging in towards shore, I have plenty of notice. It gives me space in a pocket in a sand channel to move about if that were the case, or if a big wind just picked up out of nowhere and all of a sudden you drag a little bit, no big deal. I always check the buoy reports, because if you have a buoy, say 1,000 miles away, 200 miles away, 100 miles away, these swells travel at 20 to 30 miles per hour. They increase their speed as there's more seconds or distance between the swell heights. So a 20-second swell is clipping along, 25, 30 miles per hour. 15-second swell, it's slowed down. And you can calculate, let's say like today, I looked on a buoy and the swell was peaking at 10 feet. And I can look at the times and I can track it back by its speed and go, okay, in 10 hours from this buoy report, that's what we're gonna have right here. It will also tell me just how soon the swell is gonna go down. So right now, I'm Waimea Bay. I look at what's going on in Honolulu, Hawaii, as an indicator for stuff that's just an hour, 2, 3 hours out that's inbound. Kind of give you a last minute heads up whether to go anchor out deeper or whether it's safe to come on in closer to shore and resume life as normal in the calm. You can see on some of the charts the markup, red being surf, black X where you might be anchored, that is where the surf breaks. X, you can see the sand channel. Sand channel's going out. So if you did drag anchor in a rip current, you're going out to sea safely. Incoming. Big one. My vessel, my kayak, is not only like a sports car, but it's also my rescue sled. I've had quite a few saves, as you would say, when lifeguards aren't around, or jet skis at different places where I anchor, because people underestimate the rip current, how the ocean works. And as I'm working on board the vessel, doing stuff, I keep an eye out around me, and it's easy to find people who are struggling. I'm a rescue diver, lifeguard, merchant marine captain, naturalist, so this is kind of my home out here in the ocean, right at home with doing that kind of thing. Here we go, round 2, the Ocean Maverick Surf Classic. I won the first round, undisputed, which moved me into the top 20 rankings worldwide. That's right, you didn't know that, did you? Gotta have some fun out here. Dang, this kind of sucks. This is usually the biggest social scene, like spring break, all the vacation rentals, hostels, backpacker places are shut down. That's what all these houses are. Huge places, party places up on the hills around Waimea Bay. And normally you can come here and just have a blast. But dang, my social life sucks right now. So thank you, mahalo. Do a like, subscribe. Great comment. Love to hear from you. Have a great day.